What's up everybody, my name is Josiah and this is the Learner's Guide to Half Hot, Half Cold. Alright guys, Half Hot, Half Cold is a legendary quirk with the 12 move set. In the anime and manga it's possessed by Shoto Todoroki. Alright, now Half Hot, Half Cold has 3 forms: Fire form, Ice form, and Combined form. Each of these forms have 4 moves, which equals a total of 12 moves. This is the highest amount of moves in the game. First up is the Fire form. The Q is called Fireball and it shoots a large fireball projectile in front of you. It explodes on impact with the first thing it comes in contact with. Next up is the Z. The Z is called Fire Floor and you create a large area of fire around you. This deals massive area damage. Next up is the X. The X is called Firebomb and you throw a large projectile of fire. It explodes on impact and deals high damage. Then once it's exploded, it deals a large area of fire damage. Now for the C. The C is called Flamethrower. You activate this move and it creates a large spew of fire. Now this deals continuous damage for about 5.5 seconds. Moving on to the Ice form. The Q is called Ice Field and you create a large area of ice while freezing your opponent and dealing massive damage. Now for the Z. The Z is called Ice Spikes and the user creates large ice spikes that deal high damage from long range. Now for the X. The X is called Glacier and you create a large glacier of ice in front of you. This deals high damage from long range, sorta like the ice spikes. Now for the C. The C is called Ice Slide and the user materializes a large ice slide. This deals low tier damage and it's a more effective way of traveling. Moving on to the Combined form. The Q is called Burning Ice Field and you create a large field of ice and fire. It freezes your opponent while dealing high damage. Moving on to the Z. The Z is called Burning Ice Spikes and you create large ice spikes in front of you that freeze your opponent while dealing continuous fire damage. Moving on to the X. The X is called Ultimate Explosion and the user creates a large field of ice while dealing outward fire damage. Moving on to the C. The C is called Flash Freeze Heat Wave and you create a large ice floor with a small glacier. After both of these are gone, you create a fire floor along with a fire burst. Moving on to combos. Now for these combos I'm going to be demonstrating them on present mic. With this set there's really only one combo, but you can do it in whatever order you want. Now we're going to be starting off with our Ice form and we're going to freeze present mic with both our Z and our X. Then after he's frozen we're going to cycle through our 2 other forms, our Combined and our Fire form. Now with the Combined form, the X and the C keep you stationary so the bosses can get a lot of damage on you. So if you can't kill the bosses with the Q and the Z on your Combined form, switch to your Fire form. Moving on to Midnight. Now Midnight's on the boss list and present mic isn't because we just did our combos on him, so let's get right into this. Now let's do our Z, freeze her, do our X, freeze her, cycle to our Combined form, cycle to our Fire form, and she died pretty quickly. Now for Tamura. Now we're going to do the exact same thing we did on the 2 previous bosses. Start with our Z, freeze him, then do our X, freeze him, and then cycle through our other 2 forms. And he died just as quick as present mic. Now moving on to Dabi. So let's do our Z, do our X, then cycle. He has about the same health as Midnight, so he died relatively quickly. Now moving on to Muscular. For this fight we want to stay back a little bit because his first move, Slam, does have incredible range and if it hits you, it knocks you up. So we'll start off with our Z, do our X, and then cycle through. Now for Muscular we need to cycle to our Ice twice because Quirk does give him incredible durability. Now moving on to Gang Orca. We want to stay out of his range with his ultrasonic burst because it can immobilize you if it hits you. Let's do our Z, our X, and cycle. Now moving on to Nomu. Nomu has incredible durability and speed, and if it hits you, it deals massive damage. So take extra precautions if you fight him. Let's do our Z, our X, and then cycle. We're probably going to have to cycle to our ice several times because Nomu's just that strong. He should be finished off pretty quickly. He is pretty low health. Yeah. Now moving on to Mount Lady. I'm not going to be including all my all-for-one, overhaul, or endeavor in this video. I can kill endeavor, but it just takes forever and I don't want to showcase that in this video because it's just boring to watch. So if you want to fight one of those bosses, just use the same combos I'm showing you and it should work out pretty good. So let's do our Z, then our X. I don't think our Z registered right there, so, or maybe she's just frozen. I don't know what happened there. But Mount Lady deals heavy damage if she hits you, so do your best to avoid her moves. Most of the moves on Half Hot, Half Cold are stationary, so you want to be careful about that. Now we will be including Q, like the ice Q, because it is helpful. It does do area damage, and Mount Lady is pretty big, so it should hit the majority of her. Mount Lady is also incredibly durable, so be careful about that too.